Kruve Gaur Chanjaya Radhikaya Tadali Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Galadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dhanavad Pranam devotees. So, we have just returned from our travels. We arrived yesterday back at the Sri Sri Radha Vallabha Mandir. And again, I've done it on many forms, but I wanted to extend a great deal of gratitude and thanks to, first of all, the lotus feet of my Guru Padma and our Guru Vargas for giving me their causeless mercy to serve Hari Katha, and also to all of the various devotees and families who hosted, encouraged, arranged programs, donated to the ability to travel, to do the programs. I'm so indebted to all of you because it is my life's desire and the order of my Guru Padma that I should travel and do this seva. And of course, having it facilitated and encouraged is very meaningful to me. So, that said, I do have so many questions and answers to catch up on. One question that was given to me while traveling that I looked at, I didn't get a chance to answer it while I was on the road. I did answer back to some devotees while I was traveling as much as I could. But this particular young devotee had a very pressing question and wanted it to be done on the live because she wanted to share it with some other associates and friends that she has. So the question centered around the fact that I guess there are a couple of devotees in this category. They had taken Harinam initiation from a particular guru, and when they took Harinam, they were not so steeped in understanding Guru Tattva, and moreover, they didn't have really necessarily a defined relationship with that person, but the social environment that they were operating in that particular area of the country, everything, most of the persons there were initiated by this particular guru, and so they sort of locked into the idea that to become more deeply affiliated with the practice, then obviously Guru Padasraya, they've heard that you have to take shelter of a guru, and so they took it mostly out of the etiquette simply of having a guru and not necessarily out of a heart-to-heart relationship. Now, certainly that may be the case in many circumstances, and over the course of time, maybe a relationship grows. In this particular case, it's been, I think she mentioned, 3.5 or 4 years, and that relationship had not grown, and she did not have very much access to the person that she accepted Harinam from. The person whom she accepted Harinam from has not deviated in any way, or there's not any inauspicious behavior surrounding that person, but she deeply feels that having become more steeped in the practice and having become more steeped in bhakti understanding, especially of Guru Tattva in general, that she is not feeling a resonance in having taken Harinam from this person, because she feels a sense of obligation to maintain that relationship, though it's not being fruitful for her in terms of her spiritual life. She asked, is there any sastric praman that a person may break that relationship because it's not bearing spiritual fruit, and can they accept initiation from someone else? And so I mentioned to her that it is generally, obviously, scripturally also, not any evidence anywhere in Sastra that you can break the relationship based on the circumstances that have produced either logistics or other circumstances under which the relationship can't be nourished. What can happen, obviously, is that you can take shiksha from someone, and that shiksha relationship, as evidenced in the history of our line, may become more prominent. Then she asked also about Diksha and receiving Diksha, and what happens if you've taken Harinam from one person, and now, based on that relationship, as she explained it to me, you don't feel inspired to take Diksha from that person. So I mentioned that the Diksha mantras and receiving Harinam are actually two different things. That technically Harinam is not really per se a Diksha. Sometimes we conflate that Harinam is a Nam Diksha, and then there's a Mantra Diksha, etc., etc. But actually this is not sastrically correct. Harinam is simply receiving Nam. And I don't mean to say simple in the sense that it's insignificant, because Nam is, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna mantra hoite habe samsara mochan, Krishna nam hoite pabe Krishnera charan. Actually, Harinam is the means by which we actually obtain the lotus feet of the Lord. By the gradual maturation in the chanting of the Nam, one begins to realize Nama Chintavani Krishna's Chaitanya Ras Vigraha. Punosuro Nityamukto Abhinatvam Nama Namyo. That Nam and Nami are non-different, and that actually this name is fully Radha and Krishna themselves. Not only that, but Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur and other acharyas have explained that those 8 yugul, 8 pairs of names, are actually the entire Ashtakaliya Lila. So there's so much depth and so much realization to be obtained simply in Harinam. So, and I've spoken before about the maturation from 32 syllables, 16 names, 8 pair of yugul, understanding how the 8 yugul become the name of Gaur. So there's so much that's there in Harinam, so we won't minimize that receiving Harinam is something insignificant. However, another feature of Harinam is it is Adhoja in nature. Adhoja means very merciful, very munificent. And therefore Mahaprabhu, he predicted, that Nam would spread everywhere in the world. Because Nam has this kind of Kripa Shakti, this kind of Karun Shakti, that Nam is the personification of Bhagavan's mercy. Bhagavan dispenses that name through the devotee. So I've often explained that the mantra Panchatatvakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namama Bhakti Shaktikam indicates the 5 different divisions of how the Lord operates. The Lord himself is Bhakta Rup. So the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the pinnacle of the transformation of Prem, to the point where Prem has Shri Radha Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Asmad. The Ladini Vritti, the pleasure potency in Prem, transforms. And in that transformation, Radha and Krishna, who are actually one ontologically, Radha Krishna Achayi Sada Eki Sarup, but Lila Rasa Aswadite Dare Duirup. They've eternally accepted 2 forms to taste Lila Ras. So, here it's explaining that due to the Ladini Vritti in the Prem, Pranay Radhika, again, Krishna being in the position called Vishaya Jatya, wants to experience what is the nature in the Asraya Jatya, in the repository of love, Srimati Radhika. This causes that Radha and Krishna again become one in the form of Rasaraj Mahabhav Sarup, the form of Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari. But to realize that form of Sachinandan Gaura Hari, it requires revelatory power. That revelatory power appears as Bhakta Swarup. That Bhakta Swarup is Akhanda Guru Tattva Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Then that mercy descends to this world by Shri Advaita Acharya, who's called the Bhakta Avatar. When it descends to this world, Srimati Radhika herself, who's the ocean of mercy, she descends. Karuna Nidhi, the ocean of mercy, descends as Shri Gadadhar Pandit and bestows in this world Bhakti Shakti. That Bhakti Shakti always resides in the heart of pure devotees. Srivas, as described in Chaitanya Charit, I believe it is, Shri Bhakti Rasa Hridayatam Ataha Srivas Uchyate. He is named Srivas because that Bhakti Ras, that Bhakti Shakti, is residing in his heart, and Srivas is considered to be the emblem of all pure devotees. So all pure devotees who are the embodiment of Bhakti Shakti in their heart, the Swarup Shakti in their heart, they become the dispensers of Harinam and creating a relationship with Nam through Diksha. But the Harinam is very merciful, and the Harinam reaches out from the highest element down to the lowest element, because everything is in Harinam, and gives mercy. The Diksha mantras require qualification. That qualification is the qualification in regards to realization of Sambandha Gyan. So the Diksha mantras contain the Visesh, the speciality of our Dasatva. Das is it's called Samanya Sambandha Gyan. It is the constitutional nature of how we're related to Krishna. There's no specificity necessarily in that Dasatva until Swarup Shakti is imbued there and it reveals the speciality or Vaishishya of a particular kind of relationship in Dasatva. Dasatva is foundational to all relationships. In Santaras there's Das. You understand? Somewhat. You understand? But then also in Dasya Prapa, Vatsalya Rasa, Saktya Rasa, Madhurya Rasa, Dasa is still present there. Only the speciality and the Vaishishya of those individual relationships and the individual identity of the Atma in that regard determines the Visesh Sambandha Gyan, means the specific type of relationship that the aspirant has with Sri Radha Krishna. Understand? So the Diksha mantras are meant for this purpose. Jiva Goswami has written, Dibya Gyanam Yantra Srimanti Mantre Bhagavat Sarup Gyanam Tena Bhagavat Visesh Sambandham Gyananscha. That it gives Visesh Sambandha Gyan, what I just described previously. So Diksha mantras and Harinam, they are two different things. So the quandary here then becomes, well, if I've received Harinam from one guru, can I receive Diksha mantras from another guru? So normally in our institutional environments, that has not been seen to be the practice, but there's no scriptural writing anywhere that forbids that. In the Bhakti Sandarbha, I believe it's Anuched 206, 207, somewhere in that area, it is clearly mentioned, having accepted Diksha mantras from a guru, one cannot accept another Diksha guru, or it will be aparad. Unless, of course, there is some criterion under which the guru has demonstrated inappropriate behavior, or guru has come into a state where they don't know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Guru apiya valipta sha karim akarim ajnanata. So it's mentioned in Mahabharata, one verse like this, that the guru does not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Utpat, it will cause a disturbance in the practice. And therefore, parityagyo, that guru can be given up. But if guru is situated properly and they have given Diksha mantras in the proper way, meaning that the aspirant is Saranagat and the guru is bona fide, or guru is in the proper adhikar to give Diksha mantras, then that relationship should not be given up either because of logistical reasons or other kinds of things. because then, accepting another Diksha Guru according to Bhakti Sandarbha and according to other Shastra as well, it would be aparad. But if your person has taken Harinam, and they've received the mercy of coming under Parampara in their chanting of Harinam, but they develop a relationship with Sri Guru, who's not their Harinam Guru, and the illumination of their bhakti, the illumination of their practice is coming prominently in that person, then again one of two things can be done. They can accept a Shiksha relationship with that particular person, because Diksha and Shiksha Guru, Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, are one and the same with different functions. So sometimes the Diksha Guru is the Shiksha Guru, because Shiksha means to give enlightenment. The whole function of Guru, Gu Shabdat Andakarasha, Ru Shabdat Andakarasha Nirodita. The entire function of Guru, which is performed by a sadhu, is to give illumination that removes the darkness of material influence and illumines the heart with Swarup Shakti and gives revelation of the internal identity and internal reality of the spiritual dimension. That's what Guru's function is. If the situation is there that a person simply has no actual relationship with the Harinam Guru, they can still, with etiquette, write to the Guru and ask, listen, I have received Harinam so many years ago, and I am feeling some lack in our ability to create a more dynamic relationship. It could be logistics, it could be, unfortunately now, sometimes a Guru has so many disciples that he or she cannot give personal attention. So I've never thought this is a good idea. In Shastra it says one should not accept too many disciples. If you look at our Guru Vargas, you'll see many people had one disciple, two disciples. There are rare occasions when, by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, a sane Bhakti Bhakta is manifest. Like our Srila Prabhupada, my own Guru Pada Padma, and in the necessity of their seva, they may accept many, many disciples in the transmission of the prophecy of Mahaprabhu that the movement would spread all over the world. But in general, the instruction is that a person should not, even when they have adhikar to accept disciples, should not accept too many disciples. Because in the instructions of Rupa Goswami regarding Guru and disciple relationship, he mentions Guru Padasraya, means to take shelter of Sri Guru by surrender. Tata Diksha Shikshari, one should receive the Diksha mantras to create relationship with Harinam or relationship with Radha Krishna. Siksha, they should receive the illumination in Sadhan Bhajan or Bhajan Siksha, how to obtain that goal. That can really only happen when the fourth thing takes place, which is Vishrambena Guru Seva. So the word Vishramba means an intimacy of heart. That intimacy of heart cannot take place if the nature of the Guru-disciple relationship is very official or it's very institutionalized. In other words, the person accepted Guru because institutionally it was the recommendation and there's not really a relationship per se, or that relationship is an institutional one and you become one of 10,000 or one of 5,000 or whatever it might be. So again, there is exception when there's a sane Bhakti Bhakta, but that is a very rare thing. It's not the norm that everybody's saying Bhakti Bhaktas. You understand? And it is not a metric that's being discussed in the sense of who's more pure, less pure. It's a matter of the nature of the seva itself. So when it is available that there are many qualified persons to give Harinam Diksha, then better that a greater number of people perform that seva genuinely and have a smaller number of people whom they can have a Vishramba heart-to-heart relationship with, and allow the advancement of that person to become very effective. If there are too many disciples and you cannot create a heart-to-heart relationship with each one of those disciples, and your ability to communicate with them is hampered by just the sheer numbers or logistics, it is not such a good idea to accept disciples on that basis. Right? So, in answer to Didi's question, the best thing to do is then to write to Sri Guru, Harinam Guru, and mention the circumstances honestly and request the blessing to accept Diksha from a guru in whom you found more resonance and that you found more heart-to-heart connection with. So sometimes it may be criticized that this may become frivolous, and certainly it can. So if it becomes frivolous, that you simply want to switch from one guru to another based on some material conceptions, material ideas, or you feel that you would be better recognized for your own egoism, etc., if you have a different guru, these are all not reasons to do what I'm mentioning here. But if you genuinely are not advancing in bhakti, and you genuinely are not finding the ability to create the relationship of Visramba with Sri Guru, which is one of the four elements that Rupa Goswami has described in the acceptance of Guru, then you can genuinely write and ask for permissions to accept Diksha in a circumstance which is more favorable for your advancement. Any genuine Guru does not have Guru Abhiman. Guru Abhiman means the conception that I am Guru and that my disciples are like property. Rather, the Guru also has a very deep love and affection for their disciples and thinks that this savor was given to me, that this particular soul has come into my purview even from previous lives, and my relationship with them is based on the highest quality of activity of love, which is to illuminate the heart with the understanding of bhakti. You understand? This relationship is such a transcendental wonder which has been given by Bhagavan. It should never be violated. One should never take for granted, I can simply accumulate more and more people as disciples, and I don't have an ability to genuinely reach out and touch their heart and allow their growth to take place. Better to say, I don't really feel I have capacity to fully help because I don't have the ability, logistically or otherwise, to give the kind of attention that you would need to allow your spiritual growth to take place. Bhakti is a very serious thing, and we should want that if one of the essential principles in the practice of bhakti is that we have to accept Guru, right, then we should make sure that that situation under which we accept Guru is most advantageous for our advancement in bhakti. So again, if Guru is genuine Guru and they don't have Guru Abhiman, universally they will write back and say, oh yes, you have my full blessing, and I also am giving you my heart energy that your relationship with your Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru, which in the case may become both, the Diksha may become Fakshi Siksha Guru, but that Harinam Guru may give blessing. Yes, certainly I want to see your advancement, so I'm giving my blessing. You understand? And there certainly shouldn't be any feeling of inadequacy in the Guru, but one should recognize perhaps, I don't have the ability to touch the heart of this person in a significant way regarding their advancement in bhakti. Right? Now again, if this behavior is frivolous or it's simply based in the self-interest, not spiritually but materially, then that won't bear any fruit, no matter whom you go to accept spiritual enlightenment. But if it's a genuine situation under which you are genuinely inspired by someone and you feel that your advancement in bhakti would be more efficient and effective under their guidance, then you could reach out if you've taken Harinam and ask for permission to take Diksha there. If you've already taken Harinam and Diksha, you can reach out in the same way by proper etiquette and ask if you can take Siksha in this particular arrangement with someone. Understand? So, Didi, I hope that this was helpful. Again, Vaishnav etiquette is a paramount thing. So you want to make sure you follow that because you don't want to commit any aparad. On the other hand, if you write to Shri Guru and Shri Guru declares that, okay, you're all nonsense, this, and that, and then compounded by the fact that you're not really having a deep heart-to-heart relationship and you're not therefore feeling like you're advancing, and then you become also somewhat having a loss of self-esteem regarding bhakti because the Guru has Guru Abhiman, then perhaps this is not a fruitful situation anyway. So, and then consulting that person also whom you desire to take Diksha from very closely, because there are situations under which I've had disciple ask to receive Harinama Diksha, and they had not had Harinam from another person, but they had associated with another person in pursuit of that. So I told, you'll have to write to, in this case it was a particular sannyasi, and get their permission, because that person is a very dear God brother of mine, and also a very qualified person. But then that sannyasi actually wrote back and said, no, Mukunda, I think logistically and otherwise, because they live in India. And they said, well, all circumstances being what they are, and you're present there, and that devotee's finding some resonance or inspiration, then I'm also requesting that you do it. So you'll see among Vaishnavas this kind of etiquette is there. You understand? And because Guru has no Guru Abhiman, I'm mentioning this over and over again or reiterating it, because Guru Abhiman is the thing that may effectively block any kind of true transmission of spiritual energy. Because if the Guru thinks I'm Guru, that means the Guru doesn't have any real, necessarily internal realization going on. Because when you realize anything internally, then having the designation I am Guru is an insignificant thing. It becomes, the service becomes very weighty. That's why another meaning of Guru is heavy. Because the service is very heavy. Because it's carrying the heart, aspiration, and faith of an aspirant to pursue the service of Bhagavan. So that service is very heavy. But the designation Guru, looking at it from the perspective of being like a title or some kind of aggrandizement of the ego in a spiritual paradigm, is unhealthy and is not really Guru, just frankly speaking. So if the Guru has some kind of realization internally and they don't have Guru Abhiman, then Rupa Goswami is given definition that even those, even if they're still in pursuit of their siddhi, means they're in pursuit of their perfection, but they are sastra yukti suni punya dvirashara yandra uttamari karise tare sangsar. Rupa Goswami is written, if that person has become uttamarikar in the eligibility of sadhan bhajan, it means their own sadhan bhajan is strong, fixed, and they completely sastra suni punya, means they have complete understanding, realization of sastra, and sastra yukti, the application of that, then tariye sangsar, they can help others to traverse the path of samsara, the ocean of samsara, so they can also give Harinam and Diksha. Mm-hmm. So Didi, I'm hoping this was helpful, and for others who may have similar questions, hopefully this was helpful. And Didi, who directly asked the question, you can also write me and inquire further. And on the basis of this advice, I would write to the person who's given you Harinam and have this discussion in a very sincere and humble way, and see the response that you get, and also be very patient, because it's also the duty of Guru to assure that your own consciousness is not again being spawned by frivolous, I'm not getting enough attention and therefore I just want to make a change. So, but genuinely, if you feel that you're not progressing in bhakti, right? And again, you may have prematurely accepted Harinam based on social dynamics and other things which Jiva Goswami has clearly mentioned. One should not accept initiation under either customary, hereditary, social, or ecclesiastical considerations. So we can understand like this. All right, my Dandavat Pranam. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasindavevacha Patitana Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jai, I'm also promising to get around to some other questions that I wasn't able to get to because I was traveling. So please give me your mercy and be patient. Jai, Radhe Radhe.